So I'm at Fort Martin Scott here. It's a historic site. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The visitor center is open. Yeah, it's a old Western frontier fort that was set up out here, a string of forts. Again, I know it's windy. Site of Fort Martin, established by United States Army December 5th, 1848, as protection to settlers, travelers against Indian attack, named in honor of Major Martin Scott, Brevet Lieutenant Colonel, 5th United States Infantry, killed at Molino del Rey, September 8, 1847. Its garrison participated in many Indian skirmishes, occupied intermittent after 1852, held by the Confederates 1861, 1865, permanently abandoned in December 1866.
There's a cookie door over there, you see.
Yeah. And then you could exercise. And then donation. Wow. Commanding officer. Yep. Captain Seth Eastman led infantry company. Captain Houston later renamed Fort Martin Scott. Eastman's men spent cold winter nights in draft cabins just before quarters were constructed. Fort Martin had a new commanding officer almost every month. One of the fort's last commander, perhaps the most famous, was Captain James Longstreet, who went on to be one of General Robert E. Lee's lieutenants. So one of the post commanders. And that's the thing, a lot of the generals in the Confederate States Army were actually US Army officers. A lot of them graduated from West Point, and they just went and joined the Confederacy, support their state in that. So the fence here is kind of the layout all the way around. Down there, there's actual river access. The way those stones are, might have been the layout of a building. There's no sign telling you that, but they're corners. The visitor center here is ADA accessible. This says it was part of the barracks. They use Mexican style barracks, enlisted men. Well, it's locked. They're probably at lunch. But inside you got some of the uniforms, can't see them. And this is dedicated to the men that died here. Brevet Major Carlson Gates, 8th Infantry. All 8 infantry people, different times, 1849, 50, 51, 1852. They rest in graves at Fort Columbus, New York, and San Antonio National Cemetery. Ah, see? That's what they did. They just walk in. So right over there where that tower is, they're gonna build a Texas Ranger Museum, and it's actually just wait right there. I'm just gonna go this part. The Dragoons. February 1849, 2 months after Captain Eastman's infantry company established Fort Martin Scott, Company B, the 2nd Dragoons rode into camp from San Antonio. Dragoons are highly valued on frontier soldiers, especially trained to fight on foot as infantrymen as well as cavalrymen. This is outside the gate. The blacksmith shop. Kind of locked up. I'm going this way. That's a very old oak tree right there. Huh. Treaty between John O. Mosbuck, the colonists, and Comanche Indians, March 2nd, 1847. History of Texas. Several bands of Comanche Indians, Lipan Apache Indians lived in the region of Texas in which Germans established in Fredericksburg. Interaction between the German immigrants and Native Americans was inevitable and potentially hostile. Comanches were expert horsemen and posed a threat to inhabitants of the territory. The Germans were the first substantial settlers in this part of Texas that local Indians would face. The Germans and Comanche bands in the area soon started a peaceful relationship. Early 1847, John Mosbeck, a German nobleman who led the first immigrants to Fredericksburg, negotiated a peace settlement between Comanche Chief Buffalo Old Owl and Santa Ana and the new German residents. Soon both groups realized the benefit of the others and flourished. As a result of the peace settlement between the German settlers and the Comanche Indians, the soldiers of Fort Martin never fought a battle with Indians in the area around Fredericksburg. That is an old tree. Goes to the river down here. Right there's the river access. The river runs back there. The Braeutigam Family, 1870, 17 years after the Army decommissioned and abandoned Fort Martin Scott, Johann Wolfgang Braeutigam bought this 640-acre property from John Towig for $1,650, which said the original buildings in decline. Sinton family moved in to post original guardhouse from salvage building and other buildings. They added more rooms as well. Front and back porches. This they hung dug well lined with limestone, plant trees, shrubs, and grapes. Later built a salon across the old parade ground near the road leading into Fredericksburg. The Braeutigams also built the first dance hall in the county and made oval tracks for horse races. The first Gillespie County Fair was held in 1881, what the locals called Braeutigams Garten. The tragedy struck 1884 when thieves attempted to rob the saloon. John Broughton resisted and was murdered by the robbers. The family closed the saloon and the remaining children sold their interest in the place to Henry, the youngest son. This property stayed in the Brown family until the city of Fredericksburg bought the land in 1959. So the family purchased the fort after he was decommissioned. And just a side note, if you see these little guys, these red ants, there's red ant piles all over the ground here. They have a nice stinger. Wow. So that building there is the guardhouse. The little building with 18-inch thick is the only original structure in Fort Martin. It was built in 1849 on native lands. Served as a post guardhouse for soldiers in jail for crimes of misbehavior. Showing these red ants. There's a red ant pile. Don't have any down where I live in Marion. I know we have them down in the valley, all these little red ants. Suttlers Store at the height of the activity of Fort Martin. This frontier post accommodated up 300 soldiers. Of the fort's 20 buildings, the Suttlers Store was among the most important of the soldiers. Sutler was a civilian merchant licensed by the Army to sell goods at the fort. It's kind of like you're in the military, like your AFIS, your NEX, your PX, your commissary, Suttlers Store. And these red ants are everywhere. They're on this trail too. Uncovering the past officers' quarters for 1 week in May 1986. Archaeologists from the Center of Archaeological Research, University of Texas, San Antonio, conducted a dig at Fort Martin to locate foundations of the original buildings. Some of the foundations of the original officers' quarters were visible prior to the survey. For other structures, they relied on 1853 Army survey that posted showed building locations. Finding a cut stone foundation of the fort's bakery oven as well as foundation of the laundress's quarters were cause for celebration. A sweep of metal detectors found the probable location of the blacksmith shop behind the enlistment's quarters. They unearthed 754 artifacts. A number would undoubtedly have been higher as they excavated trash dumps or privies. Site yielded glass fragments of windows, bottles, and various ceramic shards. Hand-forged square cut nails dropped on the ground by the original builders 130 years ago before the dig are also part of the archaeological record. Few military objects found are attributed to the soldier station Fort Martin 1848 to 1853. So these trees are what's in the parade ground right now. And again, like I said, there's some of the foundations that marked in the stones, the corners, like the other side had. Does that door open? Does that door open? No? Officers' quarters. Fort Martin Scott proved to be an economic boom for early Fredericksburg. Skilled carpenters.
So how many years this one?
This was 1853, or started 1848. So it was only a fort for like 8 years. No.
Already there.
Well, the ones, so all these here, where you see those squares, that's a building, right? So I looked at the one over there, the sign. So the only real building besides that one, all these they made it look like how it used to. But that one over there, that was the brig, like for the jail. But everything else, if you see the corners like that, that's where original. And so they had old pictures and they just made it look like what it used to. So right in between that hill and to the left is Fredericksburg's down there. Yeah. See, there's stuff inside. You just have to look through the window right now. Yeah. That's the officers' row. So the officers lived on this side.
That's the one in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When the horse
Yeah, with the horses and all that. Yeah. Yeah, I know. The older couple were there when they're speaking German. So they're from another. Visit Fort Martin.
right all the way there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And that's what the guy said. So I just finished here at Fort Martin, Scott. Did the walking tour. The visitor center wasn't open right now. Probably the person's out to lunch. But I got some good information here on the signs. They reconstructed the buildings, some of them. And then you see the foundations of other parts of the buildings. Plus a lot of red ants. If you like this video, go and like, share, subscribe. Have a good day. Adios.